Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and we love being here each and every Saturday morning, or whenever you're listening or watching this. I partner with Dinah Hunter and Gary Knapp, and as we always say each and every week, I think we gain more than we give in this effort. Manatech is worth fighting for, worth supporting, and worth celebrating, and that's what we're all about here today. So we're very, very privileged to have Carla here today. Carla Simons is Chris Simons' wife, which is awesome, the big boss. She's a nutrition expert and coach. She's qualified as an EFT tapping therapist and a culinary nutrition specialist. She develops and customizes meal plans for individuals diagnosed with specific chronic health conditions. She's a recipe developer and conducts in-person cooking classes. I'd like to be there. She has a passion for people and a desire to support individuals on their healing journey. It is her desire to change the way in which people approach and think about food, making small daily changes, ultimately resulting in huge success and a life filled with energy, excitement, longevity, joy, and good health. Through her own personal wellness journey, she has gained both the knowledge and the experience to help others. She strongly believes in a multifaceted approach to health. She's a proud mother of 2 and a grandmother of 2. So today we're going to be talking supplements, superpowering the food you eat, wellness, recovery, and more. And I know the situation most of us know here today, or if you're new to us, the situation has dramatically changed in Australia. So we actually can't acknowledge that we've got a benefit from our products. And so we're going to be talking today, and we're going to be talking about health imbalances, but not labels. Okay. So we're not going to be labeling any situation, and we're not curing any labeled situation with our health. But I can tell you that, learning more of, and I'll learn more today from Carla, but dedicating my mind towards learning about nutrition and supplements and the state of our food today has allowed me to go from struggling to thriving. So, and under quite a lot of labels if in certain health circles. So I know that sounds weird, but we're not here to cure any disease or treat any disease, but we're here about education. And, one of the things we always say on our Saturday call is that people are praying for what we have, and our cells need what Manatech has, and that's the bottom line. We add that to our food, there's a whole different future and outcome. So I know people tell me that Carla is maybe second to Dr. Nugent in her knowledge around our products. And, she has this unique ability to take her personal life journey experiences and challenges with multiple labels as a learning discovery, and she it just gives her this ability and a gift to connect and assist others. And so we're very privileged to have her here today. Carla, thank you for giving us some of your time.
Well,
I know you usually do this face to face, don't you? You usually do this in small groups. Yeah.
I always feel a lot more comfortable. I'm not great on the computer, so forgive me if I stumble here, but it's a pleasure to be joining you today, and I hope that in some small way I can contribute to your Saturday morning call.
We're all looking forward to it. So very grateful that you're here. And like I said, it is a bit different in Australia in regards to the rules that we have to abide by, and they even got a little bit tighter of recent. But that doesn't mean that we can't support ourselves and improve, go from a possibly not the optimal level of enjoying our health to much, much better, which, I know you've experienced, I've experienced, and other people deserve to hear about this. So Carla, I know we had started with some draft questions. First, maybe just tell us how you got started with Manatech and how you're introduced, and a little bit about your story.
Okay. Well, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition approximately 31 years ago. And at the time, I had a small child. I was started off with one doctor, ended up seeing 6 doctors, and then eventually was referred to a rheumatologist who then uncovered this one particular autoimmune condition, which was a huge challenge. At the time, they knew very little about it, and the prognosis was about 5 to 10 years. Now, obviously, things have changed and there's more known, so that's a good thing. However, at the time, you are struggling with lots of pain and your body system is really breaking down. So, it's kind of finding things that can help and be supportive to you. So along the way, I obviously went mainly down conventional and allopathic routes, being given medicines to help really, I want to say, symptom treat versus actually find the root cause. But at the time, I knew very little about nutrition. I had come from the corporate world, and I was a financial advisor. And at that particular time, I was running an accounting firm for an international accounting company and running all the South African operations. So I think stress had a large role to play in possibly a triggering factor. And I think disease often is triggered by stress. We may have the perfect internal environment, and then a chemical or a stress trigger comes along and then just kind of disrupts everything within our body. So, it's important to remember that stress is a huge problem. So over time, I unfortunately had my health deteriorate. I got to a stage where Chris never worked for Manatech in those days, and he would travel all over the world, and he would come home and he'd bring a product from another company, and he would say, you've got to try this. You might feel better taking it. And so I would try it, and then he would go off and come back with something else that was going to be more wonderful and more amazing, and I would try that. During this time, I also started to realize that I needed to change my lifestyle and work on other areas of my life in terms of nutrition and the way in which I would exercise, and possibly even relaxation techniques, and using other therapies to actually get well. Massage, I feel, has a large role to play in wellness. And so I started working on those things, but still didn't see a massive change. And then at this stage, I was probably 17 years into having one autoimmune condition that by this stage was probably 3 autoimmune conditions. So when you get diagnosed with one, it almost invites all the cousins to come and visit, and you start to have this chain reaction where you start to develop other autoimmune conditions as a result of your body breaking down. And so at the time, I probably had about 3 diagnosed conditions. And I was 17 years into having that situation. At the time, I was using a walker and a wheelchair, and my mobility was severely challenged. I couldn't dress myself on certain days. I couldn't feed myself on certain days. I had alopecia, and I'd been told my hair wouldn't grow back, and I had kind of patches. So Chris at the time was doing some consulting work with Manatech, and he happened to bring the Manatech products home and tell me to take them and that they would be beneficial for my health. So I started taking it's so interesting, because by that stage I'd taken so many products that you sort of start thinking, oh, it's not going to work, nothing's going to work. But I started taking the products, and I had been taking them for about 3 months. And I still remember saying to him, I don't know why I'm taking these products, because I don't feel any different. And he said, well, you just need to keep taking them. Obviously, he didn't know too much about the product. Yeah. And then I think he must have had a conversation with Dr. Nugent, and he then came back to me and he said to me, okay, you need to stay on the product. And for every year that you've been sick, you need to allow for a month for the product to get into your system. So, of course, for me, that meant 17 months before possibly seeing any results. So that made the journey kind of hard, because you kind of feel as if you would like to see results immediately. We all like that. We want to go to the doctor and get a pill and fix the problem. We don't want to take time to make changes to fix the problem. So I stuck with the products, and I was taking them. It was the 11th month I'd been taking the products, and Chris helped me to the restroom. I leaned on the counter and I looked in the mirror and I noticed my hair was growing. And so for me, that was the first outward sign that something really was happening internally. I wasn't feeling much different internally, but that was the first outward sign. And then it was the 13th month that I remember waking up for the first time in 17 years with no pain. And prior to that, I would always wake up with pain, and I would be stiff for at least the first hour of every day. It would take me, to even get moving or be mobile. So that was amazing for me, because that was really almost as if a light switch had been switched and I got my life back. And so I just found just being on the product made such a difference. And every day thereafter, or every month or week, I would feel a little bit better and a little bit better. And so that's been an incredible process for me, just in terms of getting better. And then it's not to say that I haven't had challenges along the way. I've still had challenges. I've had heart failure, actually. About 10 years ago, I had massive blood clot and heart failure. I've had three, in fact. I've had one pulmonary embolism, and I've had two DVTs. And so those have been a huge challenge. And then with that, I had a heart failure. And then later I had collapsed lungs, and then multiple organ failure. And so coming back from that was a big challenge. But being on the product was an incredible benefit. I remember at the time I had heart failure, I was in Portugal, actually. And the physicians taking care of me at the time asked me what products I had been on for my autoimmune conditions. I told them, and they then said that they were definitely helpful in terms of my survival, as far as having the heart failure. They helped to support the body and help to get me back on track. So that's pretty much my story up to now.
Yeah, that's huge, and I'm not, you can see me nodding my head, and there's lots of people saying they've got tears, and I've got goosebumps, and autoimmunity. And I'm just going to give a little bit of a snapshot here for those of you that have listened to Dr. Nugent recently. Then we used to call autoimmunity the body fighting itself, and what we know now, it's inappropriate number of glycans on cell surface, so that the body doesn't recognize it as a normal self and starts attacking it. So there's so much more in the modern day science that we can use to implement, and this is the difference. And Carla, I was 18 months to having very low quality of life to thriving, actually, back to power walking and bushwalking and stuff. And I had an exact same, I could mimic that journey really. And 24 years ago that happened to me. And I was housebound and homebound and only awake a few hours a day. So and I have an ICU nursing background, so none of this made sense to me. And I was so grateful for the people that persisted with me to that I would trust them to, just like Chris did with Dr. Nugent, and say, this is how long it takes. And that made sense to me. So we both gave it a try. So I know we discussed some topics. What did you want to go to next out of what we discussed, Carla? What's your preference?
Can you hear an alarm going off in the background or not?
I hear sort of a dinging or a bell.
Okay. Do you want to give me 1 second? Do you mind?
Not at all. We don't want an alarm going off. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about here is Carla's experience. Again, we do have to use a few labels here, but what we're looking at is giving nutrition to ourselves, right? And this is new knowledge, and you probably won't get it from your doctor. So I know I go to a doctor. I have medical care, and I choose what I want from their advice. And I also do my research myself. And I know I'm glancing through who's here today. And I know quite a few of us have had, a similar experience where we've persisted and learned and developed our knowledge and continue to grow our good health using nutrition. All safe and clear, Carla?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, no worries. So part of your journey was learning about, being something outside of allopathic medicine. How did that happen for you and that research? I imagine what she's heard a little bit from Dr. Nugent or started to see a bit of recovery. Did that cause you to research madly?
Pretty much. My daughter always says my mother never reads a novel. I don't, because I just feel like I have such a thirst for knowledge in terms of everything from supplementation to toxins in the home, environmental toxins on the body, what causes disease and what makes it sort of spiral out of control. So I spend a lot of time looking at different avenues, different modalities, from energy medicine all the way through to just anything that I can get my hands on. Sort of now looking at things like nervines. I don't know if you're aware of those, nootropics. I don't know if you're aware of those. So I delve into those topics quite deeply to see how they can aid our health in different ways. And so the spectrum just becomes more and more vast. So there's a good starting place. I always feel that the Manatech products are a fantastic starting point for anybody, because glyconutrients are basically everything we need. Everything is basically made up of glyconutrients. So, that is a great starting point. And every cell in the human body needs it for survival. So, if you think about the fact that that's our technology, and everything stems from there. Unless we have that, it doesn't matter what else we're doing. It's not really going to benefit us. It's kind of like a building with a foundation. So glyconutrients are definitely the foundation to health, and then everything builds from there.
So having a recovery experience makes you bulletproof in determination, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely. It definitely makes a difference in the way you view things. Vitamins and minerals, we've got the amino acids, and then we've got the enzymes, but glyconutrients stand alone. So each one has their different category, and that's something that people, I don't think, really understand. And glyconutrients are essential for survival. So I think it's great to really understand that each one of those have a different category where they fit in. Very few companies have glyconutrients, and if they do, they definitely don't have the same technologies that we have access to. So that makes Manatech incredible. Yeah.
And so when we spoke briefly this week, you not only you teach people how to integrate glyconutrients in their diet in all kinds of different ways. Did you want to expand on that?
Well, I'll give you an example. My daughter hates supplements. So she doesn't want to, she's 16, she's a teenager, and they don't like to take pills. And so she always says to me, I don't know why I need to take this. And I'll say, well, you need the nutrients. And so because she kind of has that viewpoint, I try to get the supplements in a different way. So fortunately, we have a lot of supplements in powder form. If we look at our Truplenish, and then we look at, obviously, Ambrotose Manopol, we've got Manaboom, we've got GI Pro, and we've got the Lifex, Nutriveris. And so I make use of all of the powder formations to give to her. So we'll do a smoothie, let's say in the morning, which will have some vegetables, fresh veggies. I add in some superfoods, which is again the powder. We'll do True Plenish in there. We'll do a scoop of Oso. We'll add in some Nutriveris. Then we'll put in possibly a Ambrose Life stick. And then with that, by adding the Ambrose Life stick, we then just add water. So we wouldn't add a plant-based milk substitute. We'd just add water because that gives it almost a juice flavor. And then we'll add a little bit of Ambrose if we haven't done the Life stick. And then we'll do, if I left one out.
I don't think so. Do you put any fruit or veg in it? Or veggies?
And then we'll do some spinach or kale, depending on what we're making. So if she wanted, there's one which we do, which is like a peppermint milkshake. I'll give you that, which is nice for all teens and adults alike. So in that, I would do the True Plenish, Nutriveris, Ambrose, Manipole, and I would add in the Oso, and then I would do some almond milk, ice, maybe some pineapple, and tons and tons of fresh mint leaves. And then I would use cacao nibs. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No.
Okay, so cacao nibs is just cacao, like chocolate, but in its raw form. Okay. So it's a superfood, and it's a fantastic antioxidant. And so what we're doing now is we're getting the vitamins and minerals, we're getting the pre and probiotics in the True Plenish. We can even add a probiotic, although I get her to have a probiotic in the morning on an empty stomach. And you want to, if you have your probiotic in the morning on empty stomach and you keep it away from foods, then your acid level in your gut is much lower. So the colonies can build up better. But in the True Plenish, there is a pre and probiotic anyway, so that's fine. And then I'll just blend that up and add in possibly some almond milk or cashew nut milk. And then we get a very nice, it's actually a creamer here with cordyceps in, and with shiitake mushroom. So when we add those in, so you add the cacao, which is not mannatech, and you add some cordyceps, which are not only just adaptogens, but they also help with cancer prevention, which is incredible. And then you add some MCT oil, which is a good fat. So we've got our fat and our fiber. So the absorption is really good, and it aids with brain function. And so we're kind of just creating a breakfast that you can really thrive for the whole day on. And a lot of people need convenience when they're running out the door. So I do that sort of thing. So that's one example, but that can be mixed up in so many different ways. And I will add things like ashwagandha powder. I don't know if you're aware of that at all. And then I'll also add things like maca. So maca is an adaptogen, so it helps you with energy. And then ashwagandha obviously helps you with stress. And so I just kind of add the powders in because they really are helpful and supportive. And having that all together just creates this amazing, nutritious way to start your day.
Awesome. So you're really highlighting how, there's really good foods that we can know about to add into, like, it's a real integrative approach, not only with modern medicine and nutritional medicine, but also with food, the supplements that we have and supporting your diet.
Yeah. And some days, if I'm having a day with possibly higher inflammation loads, then I would maybe do a turmeric smoothie where I would do, so I don't do banana personally because I'm allergic to banana. But I would do, so for example, I might do pear instead of banana, and I would do ice. And then I would do a plant-based milk like almond milk, add in some turmeric, add in some ginger, add in some black pepper, because turmeric will not absorb without the black pepper, add in the MCT oil, then add in my Nutriveris, True Plenish, Osoline, Ambrotose Manopole, and blend that up. And then that would be on a day where you have higher levels of inflammation, you want to curb that, that would be incredible. And then through the day, I do other things. So smoothies are a great way to start the day because they're easy, they're convenient, and you can get a lot of nutrition packed in there, and you can meet your body's needs in terms of, you know, adding an adaptogen for stress, adding for energy, adding ashwagandha for stress, bringing in some veggies and fruit, kind of putting them in there, anti-inflammatory herbs, and then obviously all of our Manitech products together with that for the nutritional component. And if you're not a first thing in the morning supplement in terms of tablets, I know a lot of people, I'm not sure in Australia, but here in America, a lot of people complain about actually taking tablets. And so this is fantastic because we can offer them the nutrition through the Nutriveris, through the Ambrotose powders and drinks, which make a difference. The True Plenish sticks are incredible for detoxification. And that would be for just dealing with the environmental toxins that we have. I've just found that recently I had COVID when it first started, and I had some real challenges with that. I had 8 weeks of trying to get well. I didn't end up in the hospital, even though I have 6 autoimmune illnesses. But I managed to use not only our products, a couple of other add-ins, and I got through having that. But the main components to dealing with that was definitely Manaboom was amazing. I did 4 a day of Manaboom, and then I did the Ambrotose Manopole, and I was doing my Immunostart every hour on the hour. And even though I have autoimmune conditions, what I love about the Manitech products is the Ambrotose Classic is, well, an immune modulator, not a stimulator. And the Immunostart was providing that immunoglobulin G profile, which was absolutely prudent to getting over COVID. So when you're dealing with viral infections, having that immunoglobulin G is vital for getting well, which was incredible because we have that in Immunostart, and all we have to do is suck on it, which is even better. It's not a pull.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
And then I do other things. If I make a hummus at home, I'll add Nutriveris to that. If I make a salad dressing and keep it in the fridge for the week, I make it with Nutriveris. So that's always in my salad dressing. I also use it in, I've made ice cream with True Plenish and Osoline. I've made energy balls with True Plenish for during the day. I do my pesto. It's always got a Nutriveris in. And if I make a homemade pesto, it would have Nutriveris. It would have, that's the main one that I use from Manitech. And then I'll add in some pumpkin seeds, which is a fantastic dewormer, natural dewormer. And then I use, if I don't use pine nuts, I use a mix of nuts. I like to put some nutritional yeast in, which gives you a lot of B vitamins. And then I will add a mix of, so I don't just do basil. I like to do cilantro or coriander, which is a heavy metal chelator. So it's a natural way to get rid of heavy metals. And so I kind of combine what we have together with other herbs and spices and just create this nutrition, day of nutrition. My way of thinking, and the way I think everybody needs to think, is how can I, whatever you put in your mouth, how can I add value to what I'm having? And then using the supplements appropriately, using the superfoods and using everything that we have in your daily life versus, oh, I've got this cupboard with supplements in and I go there once a day or twice a day. Because unfortunately, consistency in terms of taking supplements is key to getting better and feeling better. So if we can, the more we can put into our daily life and our food and incorporate everything, the more we'll have success.
Yeah. And it sounds like you have a lot of tools for addressing different people's needs to make it easier for them, less of a struggle to make sure they're getting those nutrients in.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, go ahead.
I think just focusing on, a lot of people do have different issues, allergies, or are not able to have certain foods. So it's really important to kind of just work with them and create what works for them.
Yeah. And, you're talking about labels like, immune, hyper or low immunity or viral load that, the whole globe has been in crisis for the last 3 years, coming up 3 years. And we need tools. Our body needs, again, Western medicine, but also to give your body the tools it needs to be the best it can, no matter what throws at us, whether it's our genetics or whether it's our environment.
And I think that having had COVID come about certainly made people more aware of the need to supplement and support their body day to day versus when they get something. So an example would be my brother actually phoned me and told me that what had happened in China. He has a friend that was living in China before COVID even emerged, and he phoned me and he said, there's going to be a viral issue, and not much was known about it, but he said, go and buy masks and get stocked up. And so I had gone and done that before anybody else, and it was quite interesting because as things were unfolding, and I was then told it was a respiratory more of a respiratory issue than any other, obviously, and being compromised, you start to think, okay, what can I do to support my body before things actually happen, or before I get it, because unfortunately everybody would get it. So I actually started taking boswellia to prepare the lungs. And I think that's key, taking zinc, taking vitamin D3, making sure that you've made those preparations. So just having the additional zinc to kind of build the white cell count, taking extra immunostart to build the white cell count so that your body is prepared. And then also vitamin C, I think that's one product that we have in Catalyst, but we don't have a standalone vitamin C. And for when you have a virus, whether it's the flu or any other issue, in fact, just in general, having vitamin C daily is a fantastic protector for the heart and just for general function day to day, anti-aging, antioxidant. It's amazing. So it is important to add in a vitamin C daily. And then when you do use a vitamin C, to make sure that it's a whole molecule vitamin C, because anything that is not a whole molecule vitamin C from food source would not actually be recognized in the body and useful. So I use a company called Pure Radiant C. They have a vitamin C, and then there's I'm sure in Australia there must be Camu Camu is a really good whole molecule vitamin C. So it is important to try and find a good whole molecule vitamin C that you can use daily as an add-on with our products. And obviously in the event of possibly getting a viral infection or a flu, that would be most helpful.
So this is an interesting conversation because, again, we're using labels, but there's things that we've all commonly had to face in the last few years. But the big picture, what you're talking about, is look around you. What are the threats? What are the issues? Because I know, being an ICU nurse, I was an ICU nurse for 20 years, and I'm not saying all nurses think this way, but how I was raised, I just pushed my body and I didn't listen to it, and I kept going until I couldn't go, right? If I had this kind of knowledge that we're talking about right now,
You're
where
breaking.
we're responsible for her body, love, and care, and part of that is really understanding nutrition. So this is life-saving education. I'm breaking up. Sorry, what did you miss there?
You are breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I do give the riot act to the kids when I come on this call and say everybody off the internet, but somebody might have forgotten.
I think it's important to know.
Did you hear what I said? Like,
go ahead. Let's see.
Oh, you go.
Sharon,
can you hear me?
I can. What did you say?
You go ahead. The point being is that this knowledge is life-saving, that you're giving people to really understand that they need to be co-responsible with their physicality to have optimal wellness.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think what I've probably learned most from my journey is that you have to have a multifaceted approach to your health. Allopathic medicine or conventional medicine has definitely got a place. It's fantastic for, if you've broken your arm or leg. They also look deeply into specific organs like heart, neural function or heart disease or any one of those specific organs or pathways. They look really deep into that, which is great. And allopathic or conventional medicine is incredible when saving your life. I know I firsthand from having a blood clot and being rushed to the hospital. And so we definitely need allopathic medicine, each and every one of us, but we also need to recognize that it's not the only path to health. And often with chronic disease, it's not the path to health. Unfortunately, they do look and identify you have a condition, maybe you have an inflammatory condition, and so they will provide you with prescription medications to suppress the inflammation, but they're not really sitting back and saying, well, why do you have this inflammatory condition? Is it a toxin that you've been exposed to? Do you possibly have an infection, or is there something else that's at play that we need to be looking at to actually change the situation for you? And so that's where I feel like allopathic or conventional medicine does fall down, and that's where we need to look at alternative therapies to help support our bodies. But it's not to say we wouldn't need allopathic medicines at the same time. So it's really important. I feel what is the most important thing is to have a physician or an MD that works with you, that listens to you, and that is actually prepared to work with you on, well, I want to take this supplement or that therapy to help support me in my journey to wellness, and that they understand your goal and your desire to get well, and that they're actually prepared to walk that road with you versus telling you what they want to give you and then sending you out the door with a prescription. And I found that over the years, and I have a team of doctors because of my condition. I have lung involvement. So I have a pulmonologist, I have a cardiologist, I have a neurologist, I have all the ologists, but I have a fantastic team of doctors that work with me. And I even have an MD that invites me into her practice to come and work with her patients on educating them about nutrition and health and complementary therapies that are beneficial. So it's just finding the doctors that will work with you.
Yeah, you have to be discerning and persistent is my experience. Then it's pretty hard in Australia right now. So we commiserate with you in finding a doctor that's open to, or safe actually in our environment here to look outside what they're told to do. But that you brought me to a really great next topic, Carla, is that how do you introduce, so, all of us will take this home for us.
Oh, you're
that are
breaking up.
listening
Sorry.
today, and the leaders that listen to this down the
Karen,
track. But how do we help those?
you're breaking up. Sorry.
I'll try again. How do we help those we serve with? Put something in the chat. Can you see in the chat there? Apologies.
Are you referring to Manatech products?
Yeah, getting people started. How do you educate brand new people with this knowledge that it's just not take something to fix something, that you partner with your body?
I think that I have worked with quite a lot of Manatech distributors over the years, and I think what's really important is, what I like to say is important is to, when you're chatting to them, find out what their goal is, because often, people don't want to hear the goal of the individual. So I think the first part is find out what the goal is, and then secondly, find out what their budget is, because budget definitely will determine what the person can take or not take. And based on that, I think, getting them to also understand that it's a long-term journey, not a short-term journey. And if they can start to feel better, then they will start to want more and more product. Ultimately, everybody should have all the products, is how I feel. I take everything, my family take everything. And so, ultimately you want everybody to take everything because it's so helpful and beneficial. But as a starting point, and you have new people coming in, and obviously they don't know Manatech, they don't know all about our science and the great technology and the lengths that Manatech go to ensure that we have products that are unique to us. Because they have all of these fantastic agreements with different sectors of the market, or they have disruptive technologies that have come about in the state-of-the-art lab that we have. So people don't know all of these factors that they've been working with glycans for 30 years, and they are at the forefront of glycobiology. But so we need to try and introduce them to the products that will make a difference in their life immediately, I feel. And by listening to someone, you can then determine, they should really be on this, this, and this. So, and that just comes through product knowledge. As a distributor, I feel that it's really important to go back and watch those training videos, because they do provide a lot of insight and knowledge for you in terms of listening to someone. And if they say, I have rheumatoid, I shouldn't say a condition, but let's say they do say they have an inflammatory condition. Immediately, that fish oils would be obviously ambrotos and fish oil, and then bounce back is incredible. So that what you do need to remember is, if they say, well, this is my budget and ambrotos doesn't come into it, or you need to cut something out, then you need to think, well, Nutraveris has Manopol and ambrotos in it, so let's put Nutraveris at play. And then what I love about bounce back actually is that it's it not only it actually goes into the joints where you have hardened synovial fluid, and it will act like a Pac-Man. I don't know if you ever remember the Pac-Man sort of TV game, but it'll actually go into the artery, and it will, or into the joint, and it will actually eat the hardened synovial fluid out, and it'll make that joint more flexible. And in the same way, it's a proteolytic enzyme, so it'll actually go into the arteries in the human body, and it'll clean up the arteries. So obviously we're preventing arteriosclerosis, which means that everybody should really be taking bounce back. So that's beneficial. I think just listening to people, to hear, what do you actually want? Are you just do you want optimal health? Are you looking for more energy? Do you have a specific issue that you're dealing with? And then I think what really becomes very, very important is understanding that consistency is key.
Yeah.
Because people will get on the product, but then they won't be consistent with taking it. And unfortunately, if you're taking the product today but not tomorrow, or you take it this morning but not this afternoon, or you may be taking 2 Phytomatrix instead of 4, obviously you can't expect the same result. And if you're wanting results, you need to really be consistent with how you take the product on a daily basis, getting it into the system. And then, the other problem comes in if somebody is, let's say, on the product, but they're not getting results. I think then it's important to look at, well, is it because of consistency, or is it possibly because of absorption? Because if they're taking the product, but it's not absorbing in the system, then obviously we need to think about, why is that? Is it a digestion issue? So, which in today's modern diet would not be a surprise, with all of the GMOs and glyphosites and all of the chemicals that we have in our food, damaging the human, the gut. And so it really becomes important to look at, okay, if they're not doing well, or they're not getting the result they desire, then take a step back, go off all of those products, go back onto just doing some probiotics, some gut healing foods, like kimchi or sauerkraut, and add in some bone broth to soothe the gut, do the probiotics. And a good idea, as I said, take the probiotics first thing in the morning. You can actually take the probiotics because your gastric acid is low at that stage, the hydrochloric acid. But if you take them also at night, you often find some people don't sleep very well at night. So you can actually take your probiotic at night as you get into bed. And then what that'll do is actually that helps to cleanse the liver. And the liver and the gut work close together. And so then you'll actually start recolonizing at night, which will be a good thing while you're at rest. Now, don't take supplements at night, because your digestion slows at night. So you don't want to be taking supplements late at night, because you won't get the absorption from the supplements. So also when somebody takes the supplements is
all
key.
good tips.
Yes. And things like, if you're taking your omegas, to make sure that you take them with a meal that contains good fats. So, if you do avocado, or you do a salad with avocado, and then you take your omegas, or you do smoothie, and you've had some almond milk in there, some MCT oil, and then you take your omegas. The same is with vitamin D3. It's really important to have it with a meal that contains fats. And that is going to aid with the absorption.
So I'm going to try and talk. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hallelujah. Bring on Starlink, I think. So Carla, is there anything that I haven't asked you wanted to highlight?
I don't think so. Is there anything you want to ask me that I haven't spoken about?
It's awesome, because I knew some of that, but a lot of it I didn't, in regards to distinctions on when to take stuff and what to include together, and how to bring in, more nutrition outside of the foundational Manatech range. Like, that's all really valuable coaching for people that, they probably have to pay a naturopath hundreds of dollars to go over time for multiple sessions, right? So there's, the thing that it's important to me, hope you can hear me,
Yes.
is it's really important to be self-empowered and to take responsibility for this and to build our knowledge so that we can be the best health specimen that we can within everything that life has thrown at us. So, and what you've offered today is exactly that.
Right. Oh, it's a pleasure.
Mm.
The one thing that I know you don't have in Australia is a digestive enzyme. So that is definitely something that you want to get as you age, actually. And because of our modern day diet, our digestion is not optimal. And so everybody could benefit by having those digestive enzymes when you are obviously eating food, just to help with the digestion of food. And if you're taking your supplements close to that, then obviously that's going to help with the digestion of all your supplementation, which would be fantastic.
I can credit this to one of our colleagues, Kelly Abrahamson, for people wanting to include a digestive enzyme in Australia without the Manatech range available to us. Dr. Nugent recommends this one that I've just put in the chat. So that's something you can order from iHerb if you want to embrace digestive enzymes. So Carla, what would you like to leave everybody here today from your heart in regards to partnering with Manatech and assisting ourselves and others?
Well, I think that we're very blessed to have the Manatech products, firstly. And I think that people don't really realize what a treasure it is to have such an incredible product available for us, as far as the all of the products, but specifically the fact that they have been at the forefront with glycobiology for so many years is just incredible. There's a professor, I want to share his name with you. It's Professor Gordon Lauc, so Lauc, and he is quite incredible. He's busy heading up a study on glycobiology, and he has got thousands and thousands of videos on the internet talking about glyconutrients and the importance of glyconutrients. He's also been working, obviously doesn't work with Manatech, but he works on his own and has been researching glyconutrients for the last 30 years himself. And he himself says it's a very complex subject, and it's needed by every process in the human body. And so I just wanted to share that, because anybody that wants to delve a little deeper into the importance of glycans, glycobiology, and glyconutrition, that's the place to go outside of obviously our Manatech home. And I think just only thing I'd like to leave people with is, if you're healthy, then you want to maintain health. It's really important to understand that we are exposed to so many chemicals each and every day, around sort of 88,000 chemicals in our environment. And from the 88,000, only 2,000 have in fact been tested for safety. So we have about 86,000 chemicals in our environment every single day that we're exposed to. And then as women who use personal care products and makeup, skincare, hair care, if you're using on average 12 products a day on your body, then you are actually putting around 165 chemicals on your body every single day. So I know you don't think about that when you kind of putting your makeup on or your skincare, but those chemicals are actually entering your bloodstream. They really do penetrate 7 layers deep and go into the bloodstream. So if you really look at health from a holistic point of view, I would urge everybody to go from looking at their personal care to looking at their homes, the environments they live in. Even when you're doing you're repainting your home, you need to choose the right products your cleaning products, and just everything from your linens. There's so much, and it can be overwhelming, but if you just do it step by step, it makes a difference. You know, if you think about personal care, I use everything 100% natural in my home, on my body. And it isn't that hard. There are a lot of products available today, which makes it easy. It's just finding those products. I think a very important thing to do, and I didn't mention that men have about 85 chemicals on their body every day. They use less products than we do, but they still get 85 chemicals at least at minimum per day. I think it's really important just to do one change a month. When I do talks or I share with people, I always say, you know, when you finish your moisturizer, go and find the healthier choice and just make a change a month, you know, and that way you're not overwhelmed by all the changes that you need to make. What really is quite scary, and I just want to share this. They did a study and they were wanting to see how many chemicals a baby is exposed to in the womb. So they took umbilical cords from newborn babies, tested those, and they discovered that on average there's 200 chemicals found in an umbilical cord at the time of birth. So that tells us that we have got so many toxins we're exposed to. And that's why our children and our teens have a lot of exposure to hormones. So we're having so many issues, and it's really related to the toxins. So be mindful of what you are using in your home and what you are putting on your body, and just kind of look at everything from a holistic point of view, not just from, well, I'm going to take supplements to avoid getting sick. It's a lot more than just taking a supplement. Is that good, Sharon?
Yeah. Carla, hear me, but what an awesome full hour we've spent with you. It's been beautiful. And there's some directives to Jenny Messenger about an invitation conference. They want you to come with Chris next year. So, you can hear me.
I'm losing you.
Apologies for my internet. God bless you, Carla. I don't know if this will come through, but God bless you, and thank you for all your knowledge.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Dana, do you want to finish up?
I can. Had a scarf on. It's got a bit cool here. Thank you, Carla. I don't know if you get a chance to read the accolade and appreciation for you in the chat, but it's just been such a rich discussion here this morning. Thank you so much. There's lots of bids. I'm not sure if you heard that, but there's lots of bids for you to come to conference with Chris.
That's funny.
So we're going to have to talk to the team, the powers that be, about that.
Okay.
Thank you for your contribution to our Manatech community.
It's a pleasure.
We hope we can have you back.
It's an absolute pleasure. If I can help in any way, I'm available. Always available.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'm sure you're going to be watching the recording of this again and again. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.